Hello everybody. My name's Christina Rebuffet-Broadus, and today I'm going to be doing sort of a half talk, half workshop on called Yes and. It's improv theater techniques to build creativity and speaking skills. And so first of all, thank you all for coming. I hope that, most importantly, you're going to have a lot of fun. And I hope that you'll come away with a couple of activities that you can use in your classroom as well. So, first of all, improvisation. Now, we all think of something when we think of improvisation. So, how many of you think of comedy? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you think of like jazz music and improv? There we go. How many of you think of something like Dogma ELT? Ooh, yeah, right. Me too, but being a Dogma person myself, of course, that's not a bad thing, of course, because improvisation, it's all of that. It's comedy, it's theater, it's music, it's teaching, because it's the action of improvising. It's being spontaneous, and it's also sort of making stuff up you go, but in the sense of it's not a product, but it's a process, and so it's something that you do and something that you create with the people that you're working with. And in improv, there's one big thing. It's the title of this talk. It's saying yes. And that's one of the key rules in improv. Because if you say yes, you're rewarded with the adventures you have. But if you say no, you get safety. So you have a choice. Adventure, the unknown, or safety. And Keith Johnstone, just for a little note, is just one of the big improvisational theater figures in British improvisation. So I thought that was a good quote to maybe open this with. Now, in improv, there are rules. And, you know, we're teachers, so we're very good at making rules. Now, when I start out doing some improv activities with my students, or with my clients rather, because I work in a business context. I work in companies, I work with adults, generally in small groups. Generally people who are a little less spontaneous, a little less willing to put themselves out there than children or maybe even young adults. But, so I always start out any sort of improv with going through the rules to help them feel better. The first one is to play, because playing is something that, you know, when we're children, we're really good at playing. It's just doing this activity for the pleasure of doing it and being there in the moment. And then we grow up. Me, not so much. But, you know, we grow up. And the play, it just becomes work. And then we lose this real spontaneity that we had when we were kids. The second thing is to let yourself fail. And you'll notice it doesn't just say fail, because, you know, we can all fail. That's really easy to do. The hard thing, though, is to be okay with failure and to realize that failing is just part of the learning process and that it's okay to fail. You know, we'll see what happens later on. I might completely fail at some of these activities. That's okay. We're going to have fun. Next one is to listen, and I mean really, really listen. Because in improv, if you don't listen, the show doesn't go on, in fact. In life, what happens is most of us, we listen, but only just enough to sort of respond. And you've noticed this, if you've ever talked to like a friend or your spouse or your partner especially, and they're talking and you're going, yeah, and they ask you a question and you go, and he goes, wait, that's not a yes or no question. You go, oh, sorry, what? In improv, you can't do that. It won't work. The next one, and this is the big rule of improv, and it's that you say yes. And I think this one, we'll do a little demonstration of how this works. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and I just want you to say yes. It's okay? All right? And if you don't, it doesn't work. Right, so first of all, maybe, do you want to tell a story with me?
Yes.
All right. And is the story about, I don't know, an English teacher?
Yes.
And does this English teacher come to IATEFL-Hungary?
Yes.
And do they go away and they have tons of new techniques?
Yes.
Yes. And do they come away and they become like the greatest English teacher in the world? Yes. And that's the story. So there we go. We did that together. Thank you for that. Because if you say no, well, I'll show you. This time I want you to say no. Do you want to tell a story with me?
No.
Yeah, goodbye. I'm just going to go now because that's the end of it. So you've got to say yes when you're doing these activities. You've got to say yes and. Because it's great to say yes, but if you say yes and, that means you're bringing something and the other person is bringing something and you're bringing something. Hi, Rakesh, come in. And together you're building something, and that's where you're going to actually create something together that alone neither of you could have created. Have a seat, Rakesh. Finally, not finally, this is almost finally, play the game. Now, I said when we start out, there's rules to these improvisation activities. And in life, anything that has rules, it's a game for me, let's say. For example, Pac-Man, there's rules, it's a game. You chase the little ghosts, you eat them. Doing taxes is not a fun game, but there are rules, so we could say it's a sort of twisted governmental game that they play with us. And in improv, we set the rules to help the learners play the game and to give them the constrictions, in fact, that are going to focus their creativity so that they can feel like they can do this. Because a lot of times you tell learners, we're going to improv, and they're going, no, we're not. I'm not doing that. So give them rules, help them to play the game and have fun. And that's the last one. The last rule is to relax and have fun, because you'd be surprised, especially with adults, how much you have to remind them that it's English, it's in company, and it's business, but we can still have fun, we can enjoy it. And it's the same thing, I think, with kids or young adults who are in school. Unfortunately, there's some times that we've lost this idea that school can be fun. And this is maybe one way of helping to put it back into learning. So now, that's the theoretical part. That's over. Now the fun stuff. And this is, what we'll do is we're going to go through a cycle of activities that I like to go through with learners. We're going to go through nonverbal warmers, then verbal warmers, then an improv activity, and then looking at what you do with that, evaluation. And for each of these, we're going to demonstrate one activity that you can do, sort of Monday when you go back to school. But also all of these activities, the descriptions, the resources where they came from, are all on my blog, which I will give you afterwards. And you can just go and download, in fact, a PDF that's got a bibliography and the activities and everything you need. So you can just watch and enjoy. So nonverbal warmers. For this one, I'm going to need 2 volunteers. And this is the activity where you don't have to say anything. So it's pretty easy. You can fail at it. It's okay. We might. That's okay. We'll start over. Because in improv, when you fail, the worst that happens is you just start over. All right. So this activity, I'm going to stand on this side of you. All right. So it's a nonverbal warmer. And the way it works is you get your students. If there's just 2 of you, that's fine. If there's a bigger group, you can get them in a circle. And what you're going to do, and I'll explain this, you, the teacher generally, starts out doing a rhythm. Something like, now you guys don't do anything. Rakesh, get back up there. The teacher starts out doing a rhythm, something very simple, like, very simple. You don't have to be musically inclined. And then the first person is going to give a cue to the second person. It could be like a wink or a nod or anything. But you'll give them a cue and they'll come in doing another rhythm. Anything. And it can be something just a bit faster. It can be a bit more complicated. It can be anything. There's no right or wrong here. So then we're doing the rhythm together. And then you would give the cue to Rakesh. And Rakesh, you come in and you do your own thing. Your own rhythm. It can be snapping. within reason. So it can be snapping, clapping, whatever. And then you would just give me a cue, and I'm going to change my rhythm. And so we would just go around like this, and this is just a little warm-up activity. It doesn't have to last very long. So we're going to try it. If we fail, it's okay. We'll start over. All right, so I'll just start something very simple. You do anything, no, you do anything you want. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so this is just a little nonverbal warmer activity, just for the fun, but also, and just by the way, this is an activity that I did not invent, I didn't make up. It's called Beat That Rhythm, and it's from Alan Daly and Alan, I can't remember his name now. Maley, thank you. Their book that's on using drama techniques in the classroom, and it's all in the resource that you can download. So anyway, so nonverbal warmers, what's the purpose? You're helping your students sort of tune into observing each other, because there's no speaking. They have to know and look at each other to know when to start. Looking at nonverbal cues, which is part of improvisation as well. And also, it's a nice way to make a break from their before, you know, whether it was math class or a big meeting or whatever. It's a little transition. And I like this, this quote here. It's, you know, that it sets the learners free from this crippling concern for correct speech. If you've ever had a learner who says, I don't know what to say because I'm afraid of making a mistake, you know what I'm talking about. And then also you're just helping them to ease into this spontaneity that improvisation requires, which is not easy for a lot of people, so do it gently. Next one, verbal warmers. And I think, Lindsay, you've agreed, for better or worse, to do this with me. All right, so nonverbal warmers. Now this is taking a little further. They've got to say stuff in this one. But again, it's a very short activity. And the idea is that you're just helping them to transition into creativity and spontaneity. Now this activity is called just using lines of dialogue. And it's very simple. The teacher, for example, can give a first line. You maybe could write them on slips of paper, put them in a box, put them on the board, but give a selection of first lines of dialogue. Now, the students, they choose one line of dialogue, and then they're going to play a scene, but a very short scene, just 2 or 3 exchanges, because it's just a warm-up. And the thing is, in improv, normally you know who the people are, what they're doing, and where they are. Here, you don't know any of that. And so the way that the players, they discover it together is through watching each other, observing each other, and listening to each other. Because if they don't know what's happening. All right, so Lindsay, I'll let you choose a line, and I'll let you take a minute to think about, you know, who you are and what you're doing, and then give me that line, and I'm going to try to react in a way that would fit this scene, and together we're going to build this little scene. It's going to be very short.
I only say the line.
You only say the line, exactly.
Are you sure?
Well, you know, I've thought a lot about it, and I don't know if we really have a choice in fact.
I thought you always have a choice in these.
You do, but, you know, we've tried everything, and this is the end of it.
I don't know if I can accept that.
All right, cut. Okay. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Yep, thank you.
So no divorce.
No divorce. No, we don't know. We don't know what happened next. But since it's just a warmer, you'll never find out. So I think we've got enough time that we can let you guys actually do this together in pairs. I want you, in your pairs, to pick a line and then take a minute to think about what's the scenario. One of you will start, and then just do it. And it's just a very short exchange. Doesn't have to last very long. But I want you to try this because it's really a lot of fun. All right, and cut. All right. All right. So you see, it can be. Oh, they're hugging. Isn't that cute? That's precious over there. I don't know what their scene was, but something nice. Exactly. No. So you see, this can be a lot of fun, and it doesn't have to go on very long. It doesn't really put students too much on the spot. You can do it in front of the class if you've got students that are, really outgoing, but you can just put them in pairs if they're a little more timid about doing this. So verbal warmers, the reason for doing these, helps to remind them that, we're just playing. It's fun. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be realistic. It's just fun. Again, practice in really, really listening, but also practice in reacting very quickly because you're on the spot. It's also a good way to disarm the mental gatekeepers. And what I mean by that is those, little green monsters or whatever that are in your head, and that when you think a thought and it passes through them before it comes out and it sort of filters, is this logical? Am I going to sound really stupid? Is this polite, etc.? You're getting rid of them, because they're just like a barrier. And then, again, warming up, building the reflexes, and then just a further little push into creativity for the improv activity that's coming up next. And so this is the sort of the heart of this cycle here. Now, for the improv activity, we're going to do an activity. It's called Fishbowl. Today it's called Halloween Candy Bag. Since it's October, I thought this would, be appropriate. And so in Fishbowl, how it works is, first of all, you've all got cards on your chairs. And so the way this works is you can divide the class up, for example, into threes. And let's say this group on your card, you're going to write a statement. And now think of it, a statement, let me be a little more precise, a statement that you would hear in sort of a normal, everyday conversation. Not something like, according to Vygotsky, blah, 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 blah. But a normal, everyday type statement. So let's say you four, Rakesh and you four, you'll write a statement. Then let's get maybe Alexi, yes, who I met earlier. And
it's not the same thing.
Oh, no, you all write your own little statement. You guys here, you five, will write a question on your card. All right, so you write a question, and then you guys will write an exclamation on yours.
Does the question have to be something you hear in everyday speech?
Yeah, right. These are all things that you would typically hear in like everyday speech. Nothing, very scientific or too intellectual or... and then, yes, when you're done, fold it. So you get the students to write a statement, a question, and an exclamation on their papers. Okay, and then I collect them. Fold them up.
Oh, sorry.
Up or not. And we'll collect the papers. Are you ready, Mike? All right, here we go. Let's see. Keep it clean. My mom might be watching this. All right. Okay, so now you've got in your bowl statements, questions, and exclamations that are going to help the students in case they need a little support in the improv activity. No, not yet. So now, Mike, you've volunteered to do this.
Okay.
You've been volunteered to do this. So we're going to do a scene, but in improv, you need 3 key elements: the who, the what, and the where. So, who are we? Let's get some ideas. Who are we?
The 2 tramps and waiting for Godot.
Okay, let's do something a bit more normal and everyday.
A policeman and a drunk person.
A policeman and a drunk person, okay. So we are a policeman and a drunk person. Where are we?
Town Square, Veszprém.
In Town Square, okay, we're in the town square. But we're speaking English, not Hungarian. All right, so we're a policeman, a drunk person in the town square, and what are we doing, or what are we talking about? Football. All right, this is going to be fun. All right, so we're talking about football. Lindsay, can I get you to just hold this and maybe you could come over here. So you might want to get a student to hold the fishbowl. I'll let you just put it in the middle here. Now, the fishbowl is there in case we need it. If we don't feel like we want to use it, we don't have to. But if your students, they would need a little bit of support, a little bit of inspiration, they just pick out a card and they unfold it, and then they try to integrate that into their conversation. It doesn't have to be immediately. Like, I don't have to pull it out and go, oh, what a lovely carrot. But, you know, I would try to work that into our discourse here. So if we need it, we use it. If we don't, we don't. All right, so Mike, I'll give you the opening line.
Excuse me, sir?
Yeah, what you want?
Oh, see, have you been to the game?
Yeah, I went to the football game. Yeah, Manchester.
The score?
Manchester won.
Are you quite all right there?
Yeah, I'm just dancing. You know, I'm really happy about. Woo, Manchester! Yeah.
Manchester and Veszprém.
Oh yeah, that's it's an away game, you know. Oh yeah, did you see that thing? These guys, they planted these. I mean, what a lovely carrot! I thought there was some women planting these yesterday. I mean, look at this. You want some?
You recommend them then?
Oh yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely.
Right.
But you want? That's yum. It's full of vitamins.
Vitamins, right? But hold on. I thought that you were going to bring the paintings here for the festival happening.
Oh, I don't want to go to festival. The festival's lovely, I mean, but my wife went there, and yeah, no, she's over there, and I went to the football. You woo, Manchester!
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was lovely, and right. But we've been talking. Are you ready to go now?
I think I need to take you away actually.
Okay. All right. So that's the sort of the improv activity there, and as you can see, you know, the acting doesn't have to be top notch. Mike was brilliant. Mike was brilliant. I don't ever get drunk, so you know I don't know what it's like to be drunk. But this is just a fun activity that you can do with students because it's a little challenging. You know, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's still safe because they've got, you know, like a safety net if they need it, if they don't know what to say. Again, the questions and the statements, they help to support as much or as little as needed. That's the student's choice, how much they need. Not so overwhelming because you're not just saying, all right, you're a salesperson, you're a client, go. Because that's really kind of scary. I mean, even for me, that would be really scary to try to play that. And then you're giving them the limits, the who, the what, and the where to help them to focus. They know what they're doing. And it gives them the responsibility for developing the scene themselves. You know, they're the ones who are doing this. It's not the teacher who's saying, you are this person and you are that person. If you've got a group of students like we did, you know, elicit that from the students. Who are they? What are they doing? And where are they? And let the students build it as a group. You, the teacher, you could just hold the fishbowl and be there as a facilitator. You know, let them have all that power. And then finally, the last part of this cycle is the evaluation. So what do you do after they've played? You know, it's been great fun, but you've got to do something with it. It's language learning. And when we talk about evaluation, it's not good or bad. You know, I'm not asking you to decide if we should get an Oscar or something. It's not good or bad. It's about, you know, were they communicating together? Was there listening? Was there reacting? Was there a connection between the people? Give them a lot of encouragement, a lot of praise for what they did. Not just language, but also body language, creativity, spontaneity, all of this stuff that goes into communication that's beyond the language. And then if you really want to work on something specific, for example, if you're working on, I don't know, a scene with a meeting or a client negotiation or anything like that, you can cut it into little mini scenes and then go back and then focus on the language a little bit more and expand what the students had already and build on that. And so that's sort of how you can evaluate it and do something with all of this language that's come out of the improv. All right, now, I don't know if you recognize, do you know what this is an image of? Can you tell? It's a stick in the mud, right, exactly. And you know, the expression a stick in the mud in English is someone who doesn't like doing things. You know, you say, we're going to do something fun, and they go, or you say, no, it's really going to be fun. We're going to just, you know, make music and things like that. And they're like, but this is English class. I'm here to learn English, not make music. So you get these in every group, and it might be the most, you know, motivated person, but maybe improv scares them a little bit, or they don't see the point in it. You've got to address it. Not yet. And one way of doing that is sort of, well, first of all, you can give them a different role. They don't have to be on scene playing. They could be like, you know, the guy holding the fishbowl. You could give them a role of being an observer and just say, okay, I want you to watch, and you're going to help me to evaluate. You could give them another role, maybe put them on the side and be like a helper, you know, maybe whispering lines to give a little support to someone else. But give them a different role. Don't force them, because the more you force, the more they're going to resist, and it's going to just kind of create an uncomfortable situation. Another way of dealing with this is, for example, if you've got people who think this is not a serious activity, they don't really see the point in it. Build the role play, build the improv activities around their own lives. So for example, we put questions and statements and exclamations into a bag at random, but you could focus those and say, well, think of the types of statements you would hear in a telephone call, or what sort of questions would someone ask you when they want to know information about your products, or, you know, things like that. Focus it, make it relevant to their lives, and build it from there so that it does correspond to their reality. And, you know, another thing that I'm a big fan of is just explaining what you're doing with the students. You know, why are you doing this? What's the justification? Show them that you're not just this crazy English teacher who wants to just have fun and not work, because it might look like that, but all right. So sort of sum up here, we've got a little cycle. You've got your nonverbal warmers, your verbal warmers, your improv activity, and the evaluation. And I don't think I put it on there, but a summary of the rules, and let's see if we can remember them, because that's not planned. You play, fail, let yourself fail, more importantly. Play, fail, listen, really, really listen, say yes, and play the game, and relax and have fun. Okay, thank you guys for doing that with me, because I wasn't sure to remember it, because I wasn't planning to do that. So I would just like to say thank you very much, Köszönöm. It's the half of the words in Hungarian that I've learned. If you want the document that's got the bibliography and the resources from this talk, you could go to IATEFL-wordpress.com. That's my blog. you can go to the category Downloads, and then you'll find a PDF that you can download that's got everything that we've done today and lots of really good resource books for more activities. So I just want to say thank you very much for playing with me and for attending this sequence. For the guys online, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it virtually. And if you've got any questions, then I'll be happy to answer your questions. I'll try to answer your questions. Any questions? Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Volunteers, Lindsay, Mike. Thank you. All right. No questions? Yes. No, okay, no question. I thought we had an online question. Okay, so yeah.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that
Yeah.
I think the best thing about your presentation was that the way you did it.
Oh.
You were so relaxed.
Really? Inside, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad
I think very often something that blocks students is this kind of performance anxiety.
Yeah.
And because you were relaxed, you kind of encouraged us, but you didn't really push us or put us on the spot. And finding that fine line is just, I think that's the make or break of it.
Okay.
So I think you did that brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. I hope you had fun. I had fun. So, all right. So thank you very much. Thank you.